James Prigioni coming to you live from Jersey, September 18th with a food forest update. I haven't done a video for a while, the longest since spring probably. I was doing one every week and I kind of fell out of it the last couple days. Been busy, but I wanted to make this video to thank really J&J Acres and also everyone that's come over to subscribe. J&J Acres did a video. If you haven't checked out his channel, you should. But he did a video giving this channel a shout out. And then a bunch of you guys came over and subscribed, which was awesome, and I really appreciate it. I just want to let you guys know if you have any comments, any opinions, any questions, feel free to ask or give your input. Most of the other ones have been following for a good amount of time, so they kind of know what's going on. Here's a little funny thing. My dog just dug up a carrot, so I haven't fed him dinner yet, so he said, I'm about to go get it myself. He does this though. He'll go in, he'll dig a couple of them up, only eat a couple bites, but we got plenty of carrots to go around. Got a decent amount of stuff saved for the winter. We got in the ground basically. Still got potatoes in the ground, carrots in the ground. I replanted for all fall. A lot of sections. We got different kinds of brassicas in here. We got spinach, more carrots, cilantro. You can see the kind of like bean circle around a tree that we just planted. Kefir pear tree. Just put it in a couple days ago. And we got all the beans around it, so hopefully those beans will fix some nitrogen on from the bacteria on the nodule, so they take nitrogen from the air and fix it into nitrogen that's available for plants. It's what all legumes do. It's why it's great to have them planted in the garden. They just take that atmospheric nitrogen and they'll convert it to nitrogen that's bioavailable for the roots of other plants. So this is really a perennial system, growing fruit trees and other perennials. The real design is to have fruit trees as the canopy layer, and then have strawberries and raspberries and stuff as the ground layer. So here's another section over here, which I replanted. You got a peach tree in there, you got an apple tree right over there. So this is a section I replanted. Got some lettuce and stuff under here, cilantro. And on the front side of the hugelkultur mound on contour is planted. That isn't in the hugel bed, it's just kind of laying halfway in, halfway out to help wick moisture. So that log is really rotted, so it'll hold moisture in, and when it's hot, it'll wick off moisture. You can see all the stuff that's growing right around it. It likes that wetter area. And over here is the lettuce, because we've got a tree right behind me. And this is basically underneath the shade of a tree, of a mulberry tree. And it's not getting completely shaded, but it's more of a filtered sunlight, which lettuce seems to do better in, rather than just beamed with sunlight all day. Here's another section that I replanted for the fall. And you can see I wasn't very rough when I came through and pulled the other stuff out. You could still see some parsley and stuff that was in there from when I had ripped out the tomatoes in here. And then I replanted. You could see all different brassicas and stuff coming up. A bunch of peas over here, over along this metal trellis. So a bunch of peas. Got a bunch of stuff to harvest. I gotta get rid of all these pumpkins. I'm not growing pumpkins next year because I think they cross with my squash, and with my zucchini now I'm not really a fan of that. A bunch of watermelons and stuff growing. And another idea with the beans is the multifunctionality of it. The beans around the tree, not only are we getting the yield of eating beans, but we should also hopefully get some nitrogen fixation from the bean roots. So that's like multifunctionality is a big concept in permaculture, getting the most uses out of a single thing. Oftentimes you'll get situations like this over here where you don't even plan for the multifunctionality, but it works. So right here we got a Burbank plum growing. It's not producing any fruit this year, but we've got a cherry tomato using it as a trellis to help hold it up. Cherry tomatoes and makes them nice and easy to just reach, eat them fresh. Got so many cherry tomatoes. Of course, so many planted that we haven't even been able to harvest that. I'm never going to have to plant cherry tomatoes around here again. I'll just make sure I come through, throw more seeds in the ground, cover it with a little mulch, and the garden will be ready for next year. I'm not going to have to really plant almost any tomatoes. But strawberries have come back and are just taken over as a ground layer, just as we want it to be, as it's designed. Got another little trellis going over here. We got the grapevine trellising over to an apple tree. The grapes have done great this year. We've ate a bunch of grapes. Next year should be really a huge harvest of grapes. You know, look at this over here. I planted this apple tree from seed, spring 2013. This it had last summer and this summer to grow. And I've got an apple tree right over here that's a few years old next to it. And this 2-year-old from seed is almost as big as this other apple tree. So I'm thinking in a couple of years this one from seed is going to be way bigger and healthier than this one we planted here. So we'll see what the one from seed produces. If it produces an edible fruit, then we'll keep it. If it's not too good, then we'll just graft it. But it'll take a few years until we get some apples from that. Mint and stuff down here going to seed. I'm going to come out and cut off all the tops of these mint because I don't want mint completely taking over the ground. I'd like to have some of the ground layer for the berries, the other edibles. Here's another apple tree from seed doing real well. Just so healthy when they're planted like that. And another spot where I replanted. Huge pineapple sage over there. So compared to last year, the garden is going really moving over towards more of a perennial system, and that's really what the design is. Every year there's less places to plant the annuals and less space to plant the annuals, which means less work, which is a good thing. So it's really about getting the biggest harvest with the least amount of work, but also having the healthy food right from the hands of the creator, not doing all the work yourselves, you know. That's what a lot of this is, just planting seeds and gardening by faith. That would be one word I would choose to define, I guess, the style of gardening. It would be by faith, knowing that what you plant is going to come up and it's going to produce enough food sufficient for you. Because, you know, the yoke is easy and the burden is light when you do it by faith. Nothing's supposed to be too hard. Once we sit down to think about it and follow the ways that we're by the Spirit, basically, and not by our own carnal minds, we come to realize that this is the way to live and the way to garden. It's not back-breaking work. It's more about designing it to work for you and working with it, not working against it, not going against the wind, but letting the wind guide your back and blow you in the right direction. So here's another instance where we got a peach tree growing here, and then we've got cherry tomatoes just trellising all out everywhere through it, hanging down, just asked to be eaten. So we're still getting good tomato harvest. My brother and I just went through today and grabbed a bunch of tomatoes and gave them away to our neighbor because we just have so many. We already have so many seeds saved also, so more strawberries everywhere, just taking over the whole ground layer, and that's really what we want. And then there's still the pomegranate still doing it right. So we'll see how that does. But everything's looking good, guys. I ordered a bunch of trees for next year. A bunch of them, a couple nut trees. Coming in January, you can get those in the ground, so next spring should be great. I can't wait. I'm already looking forward to it. But I'm thankful that how well everything grew this year. And